Okay, another theory, and tell me if I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I will. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Deep Drop. This is a fishing podcast where we talk about a lot of stuff. We question a lot of stuff. It's all fishing related, and we don't necessarily land anywhere. I'm Luke McCredden, and with me, Adam Ring. That's a quick summation, but can you just give our listeners a bit more of an expanded snapshot of what The Deep Drop is all about?
Well, generally when you listen to a podcast, you're seeking answers. That's kind of not what we specialise in. What we specialise in, Luke, is we enjoy giving you all of the information that we can think of from every side of the coin in relation to whatever we're talking about. And we want you to give us the answers because we can go around forever on what the answer could, should, or would be. But really, that doesn't mean anything. It's the people listening. They need to tell us if we're making any sense or not.
Yeah, and the beauty of it, this far in, ads, we're over 100 episodes in, and we get the feedback we need. We learn
That's
a lot.
right.
We learn a lot hosting this podcast.
And we got some hard answers from socials because generally the way it works, you and I will talk. We'll bring some things to the table. We'll post those on social media, and then it's up to the people to tell us what they think and what the answers are. And did they answer a couple of questions?
Boy, oh boy, did they ever. Hey, let's get into that in just a minute. But before we do, we have to touch on, I'm tapping my hat. This is an audio podcast, so doing this is doing nothing. See what I'm doing here? No, you can't because you're listening to this. I'm tapping on my hat, which is a Deep Drop hat, Adam, and you are drinking out of a stubby holder, which is the Deep Drop stubby holder.
Correct. I am sipping my brewski that's being kept cool by the Deep Drop stubby cooler just in time. And the weather's getting good, Luke.
Oh,
there's a little bit of warmth in the air.
If you ever need a stubby holder and a cap, am I right?
It's calming.
This is it. We're there.
So just do it. We've got you covered.
We've
got you covered.
TheDeepDrop.au is the website. Now, it's not just all about merch. Obviously, all the episodes are housed there, a bit of info about them. There's going to be more info about, if we're doing events and bits and pieces, but it is the place you need to go if you want to pick yourself up, the cap and the stubby holder. And boy, oh boy, we're getting into that time where Sunday sessions are on.
They're well and truly on.
Oh my God. So do that. Rep the brand. We love it. Thanks everyone who's picked up a cap and stubby holder so far. Now, socials ads. The Deep Drop on Instagram is where you find us and you can respond and get in touch and, be a part of the show ultimately because you and I do the show, but we're only a very small piece of what the Deep Drop's all about, mate. You mentioned a couple of topics from last week and gee whiz. Oh, and I'm glad we put it out there just quietly. So just a bit of a recap. There were two main ones. One was about GT reels or fishing for GTs. Typically, it's the high-end stuff. And we were kind of saying, well, hey, Stella and Saltiga and the Shimano and Daiwa brands, is that it? Do you go much lower than that? The feedback was pretty solid, mate. They're not going much lower than that.
You just don't.
You're going high-end. There were some examples of trying to be a bit money savvy and use some of the mid-tier sort of models and ranges and just not getting it done.
Just not getting it done. Not the longevity. You could probably get away with a day or two, depending on the size of the G's. If you're after those big bad boys, I think it's probably highest end or bust.
So that was just a snapshot from you guys that got involved in that one. So thanks for the feedback on that. Appreciated it. But it sounds like you're going to have to spend a few bucks getting yourself a decent outfit. Now the other one was interesting. We were asking about jigging rods, and do they or are they classed as a game rod? Now, bit of background on that, and it probably stemmed from our after wrap up, which was last week ads, and we were talking about one of the awards, the Best in Show awards, was Best Game Rod, and it was a jigging rod. Beautiful stick, amazing rod, by the way.
Yeah, this is not about the rod in question.
No,
it's
no,
about
no.
The category. Placed.
I mean, when we asked that question, it was 100% sort of response rate. There were lots of responses, so awesome. Thank you, everyone, for getting in touch. But It's not a game rod, ads.
It's not a game
The
rod.
people have spoken.
Yeah, it's not a game rod. I think we're onto it.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty it's a bit of a no-brainer when you actually think about it. But we wanted to put it out there, and again, you know, the reason we put it out to socials is we're not on this podcast. If you're fairly new here, right, and hopefully you've got the drift of this so far, but if not, here's how it is. We do not claim to know everything or know anything, and anything that we sort of, I suppose, land on as our answers, it's just our opinions,
That's right.
just our
It's
thoughts.
an opinion piece.
Yep. There was a few funny comments actually, so I should go through a couple of them. Simon Ando 68 said it might be a jigging rod that identifies as a game rod. There were, you know, with that theory, Luke's gone fishing. With that theory, a fly rod could be used to take game fishing line class records. So let's not go there. And I'm not. Hey, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get you started on that. There's actually a couple of fly. There's actually a few fly comments. Ads, you've really started something.
Yeah, you know.
So,
Just my opinion.
But it is interesting. It's an interesting sort of category and a space that we play in. I find it interesting, ads, for several reasons. Is there no game rods in that category? Because game rods just haven't really. There's nothing new about a game rod, so to speak, or hasn't been anything new in recent years.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird part of our industry because with the rod and reel and even lure technology, all of these things, it's quick turnover.
Yeah.
You know, generally you'll see some of these reels probably live on a 2 to 3 year lifespan, maybe 4 year, depending on what they are.
Oh, and case in point, we've just seen another release recently of Stratic and Vantage.
Yes.
You know, we see that fairly regularly. To your point, it's a high turnover sort of range or model of reel in that spin category. So you're spot on.
And pretty much how that's working is you'll see any of the newer technologies highlighted in the highest end reels. And let's just talk Shimano for a second, only because that's what I'm more familiar with than anything else in the reel space. Estella will come out with the new technologies, and then over the course of the next 4 years, those technologies start getting filtered down to the reels below. It was one of the biggest pieces out of after last year, or maybe the year before. The brand new small Stratic was starting to incorporate Stella's technology. Yes. So you're buying a mid-tier reel with the highest end technology into it, which basically tells us they've already got what's happening with Stella. They've already got it. So they're working 8 years ahead, I reckon.
Yeah.
But what we sort of see, that's kind of the cycle of things. Introduced at the highest end, filtered down before we see a brand new Stella in a 3 or 4 year cycle, and it has whatever we haven't seen yet, or whatever they've fine-tuned or modified or made lighter or whatever they've done.
Having said that, you know, it does beg the question about game reels and game rods. To that point, when was the last time we saw a new game reel get turned over?
Well, this is why it's really strange. The last thing that I can remember in the high end space would be Italica.
Yeah. But
there was a purpose. There was now braid that was being incorporated into the game fishery that was becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
Mainly for line capacity, maybe for a bit of fun. I don't really know, but we saw, and Talicas aren't new.
No, I was going to say that's still not a new reel. Like it's, I don't want to. It's going to be at least 10 years old, right?
Oh, it might be.
Has to be. Anyway,
I don't know, but and so anyway, it's about the only part to this industry where the industry has said, we've clocked it.
Do you reckon that's what it is?
And I've got a theory on why that is. I'm curious.
Because
let's just talk game reels, for example.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll get to rods because they kind of tie hand in hand.
Yeah.
With a game reel, the whole game fishery is built essentially around line class.
Yeah.
Now, what you do with that, it's line class based around monofilament.
Yeah.
And braid is starting to eat into it a little bit, but for the most part, monofilament still rules game fishing.
Yeah.
So realistically, if it's all competition fishing, so everything's based around IGFA, max drag means dick all. Because if you push 24 kilo mono past 24 kilo mono, guess what? It fucking breaks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So essentially, instead of a game reel being based around drag capacity, it's about smoothness and it's about heat dissipation. Because with these big fish, as a drag heats up, the actual drag itself expands, the drag material expands, increasing drag pressure without you touching the drag dial.
Yeah.
So it's all around that. But it's kind of perfect.
But it's done.
When's the last time you heard of any game reel, whether it be Penn, whether it be Shimano?
Has a Penn?
When's the last time you heard of the drag heating up and tightening to a point where the line snaps? Never.
Has a Penn International changed in the last 40 years? I don't like. I'm saying 40. I don't know, but the year. But do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. And this is the thing, because for that style of fishing, they're perfect. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're smooth.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They're smooth.
Yeah.
The ratchets are loud as hell, so you know which reel's going off in a spread. The drag holds its pressure, so it's not going to push past. You're also working on a drag that is actually measured towards the line class that you're fishing. It's flawless. What's the biggest thing we saw change in a Tiagra in the last 20 years? They changed the handle knob on it and they put holes in the drag thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. It's fascinating when you actually sit back and think about that. Like I said,
where do you go?
know, and I'm just using, as a Stratic as an example, but how many models of Stratic have there been in the last, let's say, 10 years, do you think? 6? More?
Well, I reckon
5, 6?
I reckon you'd probably find it's only
a few.
3.
No.
4. But they're not running on a 2-year cycle. That's nothing.
I reckon 10 years, right? And this is all in real time, by the way, people. I'm about to just Google something because I'm just thinking.
But we did see the introduction of a Stratic saltwater. That's a different reel.
Yeah.
That's not a Stratic.
There was. What do you mean? It's not a Stratic.
No, but it's a different. It's a Stratic.
Yeah, okay.
It's a different.
It's
thing.
not a. Yeah. So there's the 2 most recent ones that's literally been released in the last. Oh no, it was saltwater this year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still going to say.
3 to 4 years.
I'm still going to say there's been 3 or 4 models in the last decade. There was that white Stratic.
That's old, man.
Is that longer than?
Mate, that white Stratic was around when we were in a tackle shop.
How long ago was that?
Mate, we were.
Shit.
How long's it been since you and I have worked in a tackle shop together?
Yeah. Okay.
You probably find it's nearly 10 years.
Fuck. The CI4. That was probably before that. That red and black CI4.
The original one.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah,
I can't remember what Stratic we're up to. It might have been that white FJ Stratic when.
Did the FJ come out after the
CI4 Stratic?
Yeah, it did. I reckon it did.
But they ran in conjunction for a little while. So the
Okay.
Stratic always stayed, and then there was the Stratic CI4, which is why they ended up going for a Vanford and dropping a Stratic so it wouldn't get confused with the original Stratic.
Do you know what? Hats off to Shimano because I feel like there's been a hell of a lot, which means they've been in my face a lot over the last. So that's marketing 101 right there. Beautiful.
So with our game fishing or our game reel argument at this point, what do they need to do? Because the drag's perfect. Drag's perfect.
But can I ask on it? And I'm just for argumentative sake, what have they needed to do in the last couple of Stratics? And again, I'm just using that as the. Do you know what I mean? Like, has there been a need? True. A need. I feel there's got to be.
Because you know what spin reels are? They're a flex. That's it.
Yeah, and they're a bit more consumable than a, $1,500 game reel.
But they're a flex. Why does a Stradic 2500 need 10 kilos of max drag or 12 kilos? It doesn't need it,
Yeah.
but it does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
But if you're fishing a Tiagra 50 or a Penn International 50 and you're fishing 24 kilo line class, you set your strike drag to a third of the breaking strain, and then you've got sunset, which means you can go as hard as you want, knowing you're not physically going to put as much strain on that line as it is to break it. So everything's so fine tuned, which in turn is why I don't think we've probably seen more innovation in rod than we have in reel. Only because the quality of graphites, you've got all these different weaves, everything gets lighter. The guides in particular, like there's some crazy guides out there now in that rollered space, even not non-rollered. I mean, it's one of the few things where, as braid's been introduced into game fishing, we would run rollers on every rod to cut down on line friction, yet because of the advancement in standard guides, you don't want rollers with braid. You run standard runner guides because the silicon inserts do a hell of a lot, but they dissipate heat insanely well.
Yeah. Which is,
And you don't have the problems that you do with rollers.
Come with development. Yeah. Do you think there could be a market for a new game reel? I mean, just to
100%.
Purely and simply, just to put another one on the market to give it freshness. It could be a new brand. It could be, I'm just spitballing here, by the way. Like,
so all right, I've got a question.
People, and I'm including you and I in this, we froth on new, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we've got 4 Tiagras in our spread. If there's a new, I don't know, black Tiagra, we're getting it.
Well, all right. What about this? So something that, because I've been thinking over the course of since the stuff with the jig rod and what could realistically done if you found out at AFTA that's just gone that Tiagra were bringing out a brand new Tiagra that had carbon fiber side plates which reduced the weight by 3%.
Yeah.
Do you reckon everyone would go, fuck, I need the light one?
I don't know whether people would be frothing on it, but I feel like that's where a new could be and get traction by saying, hey, we're bringing out this, like for like, pretty similar. However, it's a third of the weight. Or, you know what I mean? Or it's half the weight. Or
Tiagra CI4.
Shit. Fuck. Wow.
Because how did they market CI4? They marketed it that it was
lighter.
It was lighter, but it was more rigid and more durable.
Wow. Tiagra CI4.
Why haven't we seen it?
What have we just done? I'm getting on the phone to Japan in the morning.
Say, why haven't we seen this?
There has to be a reason.
There has to be.
They have to have looked into this sort of thing.
You'd think so.
Surely.
Because you can't tell me they've just gone.
Would it stand up to? Is it a?
Well, okay. Another theory that's just popped into
Yeah,
my
you're
brain.
on fire, mate. Don't
tell
stop.
me if I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I will.
So the Tiagra, as far as I'm aware, is only around because of the American market. They have a game market.
Mm.
I don't know how much of a game market Japan and Europe has.
Mm.
And we know what generally speaking, when it comes to tackle out of the States, it's very agricultural.
Yep.
They don't change shit.
No.
It just does the job. So they've taken this big, heavy, robust, never break game reel.
Yeah.
And they've said, okay, this is what we want. But the Japanese, you guys are really cool with your gearing and innovation. Just make it feel good.
Yeah. And they've nailed it.
Because you have a look at some of the other American game reels, throwing it out there. I'm not going to mention any brands. They feel like shit.
Yeah.
So they've taken...
But see, I don't reckon they're... And this is a big generalisation. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't reckon they care about it. they're big industrial sort of fucking, you know what I mean? Like, give us
yeah,
some
but
heavy gear. And
That's right.
let's go
America
get 'em.
don't care about it.
No, yeah.
But Shimano do.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the
Yeah,
elite.
yeah.
So they're like, well, if you can sell so many of these reels, it
Yeah.
still needs to maintain the standards at which we hold
Yeah.
Shimano to. So you tell us what you need and let us make it cool. Like, let us make it feel good.
Yeah. And unfortunately, another little insight into the tackle industry for anyone listening, we're a very small fish in a very big ocean when it comes to developing tackle as far as Australia.
Yeah. Do you know what percent we are? 0.
Yeah.
We don't get a say.
You know, so when it comes to this sort of thing, it's like we could have the greatest idea in the world that would benefit the global market, and they'll just go, shut up, Australia.
Yeah, whatever. What do you guys know?
And then America will come up with a shit idea, and they'll go, yeah, right, let's do
let's
it.
do it. Just do
Got
it.
the numbers.
Yeah, then we know we're going to sell the numbers.
But I don't mind it. Wow, I'm going to write that down. I might.
So what? Yeah, what do we do to make a game reel better?
Fucking hell.
Because we even saw
I
with,
think you've just nailed it.
I think it's the most current saltwater Stella.
Mm.
We saw everything was based around heat dissipation in the drag. You turn a Stella spool upside down and it just looks mean
Yeah.
because it's all about keeping a regulated drag pressure under long sustained fights, on which spin reels don't like doing anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, why haven't we seen anything in a game reel? It's seriously, it's like the industry went, clocked it.
And we
Don't
talk
worry about
about, we're talking pretty freely tonight about brands, but we talk about Tiagras and Penn Internationals, and there's kind of your benchmark. If Daiwa, you know, I know they did something, but like, is there a market for Daiwa to slide on in and go, here's our version, and just get some runs on the board in that space?
It's a good
Am I
question.
speaking out of tongue here? I'm not trying to, you know.
Do you remember the Finnor Santiago?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So they've got
So
is that-
more if you were to, I know at the time that Finnor was re-released in Australia, the newest version of it, and I don't know where it's at now. I don't know if they're still making them. I couldn't tell you. There's more world records that have been caught on Finnor game reels than anything else. So
Is that
Finnor's
true?
not. I think so. At the time of when those Santiago,
At one
So-
point in time, that was fact. Was it?
correct? Yeah, I think it was.
I love everything about that. The lack
So-
of confidence, yet you were oozing with confidence.
Yeah,
when
no,
you said
I'll
that.
confidently say that I'm not confident that it's a fact.
That's so good. And this
But
is
I'm happy to
you've
throw
just,
it out
You've
there.
just summed up the deep drop.
No, but
in
my
one
point-
sentence.
No, but my point, yeah, that's right. But my point is that Finnor was a huge deal. It
Yeah.
was the game fishing reel, and now it's like you wouldn't piss on it if it was burning. And I don't know why,
Yeah.
because it's still good.
The Akuma Makaira was a big
That-
one for a while.
Yep.
Not-
And they're
not-
still,
not
they're still
big-
around.
Yeah, they're still around. It wasn't necessarily like as big as some of those other names, but it was. They're all like.
And Daiwa did have a game reel. That's Sea
Yeah.
Line.
Yeah.
I think it was a Sea Line.
I honestly
I'm not
can't
sure.
remember it.
I think they were just being phased out even as we very first started in this
Yeah.
industry.
I recall there was one. I don't know any
Yeah.
details about it, but yeah,
And why are they all gold?
America. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I can put my finger on.
It's just a dick swinging contest, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, even that, like, do you remember when Penn did? They had a promotional period there for a while where you could customize
You could do
any
whatever colour
color.
you
You could
want.
put your name on the side plate and everything.
Yeah. I saw a blue anodized one that was.
I think
That
we
was
had
alright.
didn't we
Yeah.
have a blue one?
And there was one getting around that was like, it was like camo blue. It had like it had
true.
a white and grey, like it's like someone got a paintbrush and just flicked paint at it.
Yeah. There was I went and caught up with Accurate at iCast just because I've used some of those over the years and whatever, and I just wanted to go and have a look. And they're one of those fucking bulletproof sort of reels as well. But they had all custom jobbies on the go there as well. And I mean, anything custom color over there is red, white, and blue. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. But they look kind of cool, and same deal. Or even then, I remember thinking, we should do some more custom colours and game reels, but I don't know. It's kind of a it's probably just a one-off thing. Like you've seen those people that dip the stuff in that
Yeah.
shit. I don't know what.
Yeah. What's it called? Oh, no. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And it puts prints and
Yeah, but it's weird, because it just looks like it's in water, and then they dip it well
when they pull
and
it out.
It's got like a picture on it.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me.
No. Yeah.
But it's cool as shit.
Everyone out there listening would have seen it on social media or something. It's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do it heaps on like car wheels and shit.
Yeah.
Shoes and
Yeah. You're not going to get any technical terms from Adam and I
No.
tonight if you didn't already pick that up.
The dipping shit is what you got from us.
You know what I'm saying. You knew what I was talking about.
I
That's
knew
the worst part
100%
about
straight
it.
away. I knew what you were talking about.
So anyway, game reels, no real development in new or innovation, but
Where do we take it?
where do we take it? I mean,
I feel as though we need it.
I feel like there's somewhere it could be taken, and this will all stem from if this happens next year at the Tackle Show and there's something that's been released and there's new in development. I reckon they listen to the Deep Drop. Or they were at the awards night and went, game fishing rod?
Yeah, hang on, we got to up our game here. We need to release a game fishing rod and
Need to
claim an
release
award.
something. But anyway, there's been a bit of development in electric reels and bits and pieces, but just not.
That's been huge. That's boomed massively.
Yeah. Ads on Instagram, speaking of, I just sort of wanted to put it out there to our trusty and faithful listeners that, we're about to hit the record button. And I thought I'd hand it over to you guys out there listening to if there's anything you wanted to bring up. And I mentioned that you were in a bit of a feisty mood, Ad. So we just to touch on a couple before we move on. We had from Silly String Fling, throwing flies on spin rods just to stir the fella up. So that's directed at you. How do you feel about anyone who wants to throw a fly using a spin rod?
No, don't mind it. Anything
mind
we can no, because anything we can do as a spin fishing fraternity to piss off the fly fishers, I think is a good thing.
Do you reckon
and I don't
that's-
think there'd be anything more infuriating as a passionate fly fisher if you've got all these spin rod wankers chucking flies on spin rods. I reckon it would infuriate them, and I'm here for it.
I was going to ask you, do you think that's really offensive?
I think it would be.
Because
Well, what about the other way? If you saw a guy or a girl floating a unweighted worm down a run on a 6-weight, you'd be like, what are you doing?
yeah, if you're not actually casting, is that what you mean? Like you're not
You're like
sort
you're
of
bait
waving the
you're-
wand, you're just
You're
drifting.
you're bait fishing with your fly.
Oh, with a worm. Sorry, I missed that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you doing? That's not
right.
fly
You're a
fishing.
knob.
No.
So I'd like to hope that they think the same thing of us when we're bouncing flies off the bottom. We're doing everything wrong and catching more trout than them. Just saying.
Just jigging a fly. Because it's not just like people do that, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
it's
quite
a
often,
proper technique.
and it fucking works. So,
So we took a fly and made it legit.
yeah. This one is from Nathy Wills. Just straight away, you feel this is visceral. This people that watch you hit a patch of calamari, then steal your squid drift. That's
it's shit
shit
etiquette.
form, isn't it?
It
Eh?
is, yeah. It's not on.
We've all seen it.
We need to put a stop to it.
Is calamari one that you can kind of let go though? Because it's like they're
No.
fucking everywhere. No,
Nah,
I can.
I can't.
Although if you're on a good run, like a good drift,
Only because I've mentioned it before on this pod. They're the species that if I decide I'm going to put my mind to catching calamari on any given session,
yeah,
I expect to get 10 and 12 casts. And if I don't, I'm already starting to get annoyed. So if I finally drift past them and some motherfucker cuts me off,
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
yeah. You can't share a drift.
I can share a drift if you're polite and just give us a wave and a shout.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to call you over.
What's the general consensus with kayaks? If you find a patch in your yak and, you can sort of sit on that drift a bit more, I suppose, without causing too much commotion or noise, are you happy to sort of motion over another kayaker to come and join the party? Or if they just sort of wander over, you're okay because it's like...
I am. Only because, listen, it hasn't happened to me a lot, I must admit.
What,
said
finding a patch of squid or?
Yeah, that. And I tend... Luke, I've kind of fear a little bit that since we started this podcast, I've probably annoyed a few people. So I've been quite... Like, I speak highly of kayak fishing.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a speed bump, mate. So I tend to stick to the quiet rivers.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Where I don't come across too many people, so I don't need to call anyone in. And also, I don't get many sessions where, you know, I can be cut off and annoyed.
What if you're drifting or you found a snag, some perch or some bream sitting on it? You know, it's a nice quiet river, but there is another kayaker sort of down the road. You can tell, or down the river a little bit, you can tell he knows what he's doing. Or
Yep.
You call him in. You found a patch. Would you call him over?
Have we had any previous interaction?
A general bit of a head nod just as you went past each other half an hour ago, and that's it. You don't know them. They've got a,
I honestly probably would call them in.
Okay. If they were close enough that they saw you catching fish, you know, because you can see that look when someone can see you. You sort of go, oh, I'm doing another fucking head gesture at the podcast.
Yeah, just to, let's go. What's up? It's over here. That's happening.
Fish here.
Yeah, I reckon I might.
But you wouldn't do it after you've had one bite though. Like you've probably caught half a dozen. Thought, fuck, this is good. I've had it.
You've caught 4 and 5 casts. Clearly, it's going to be pretty hard to muck it up.
Yep.
And already, if I've caught a few in that succession, I'm pretty happy. Like I don't need to catch 100.
Because there's still always a danger, isn't there, where that person comes over and just throws like a massive anchor out and right on top of the and just completely ruins your day. Like you know what I mean?
And it would ruin my faith in calling people over.
That would be the last time you'd ever do it.
There's a question I've got for you, Luke, because I want to know if this has ever happened to you. Because I can hand on heart honestly say I've never ever come across this in my entire fishing life. What's your thoughts on releasing a fish and it completely shutting down a school? So I've heard this with EPs. I've heard it with King George Whiting. I've heard it with even snapper. Have you ever released a fish or whiting? You hear it like, don't drop the fish at the boat, or otherwise we're fucked here.
I've heard of people pulling up anchor if they've dropped a fish at the boat, like instantly, just pulling up anchor because it's we're going to fuck the school. I personally, and again, this is just our thoughts on this. It's never crossed my mind to the point of actually.
I've never thought it's been the reason it's shut down.
No, and I don't think there's any hard evidence, is there, that it does shut it down? I don't buy into it, to be honest. That's my answer. I think it's okay.
I'm
not saying that's right either.
No. But it's in my experience, and shout out, hey, this could be one for the people. Tell me because I've been lucky enough over the course of my lifetime in fishing, I've had some epic sessions on perch, just stacked up on snags.
Yeah,
and we've released every single one of them.
Yeah.
It hasn't shut the bike.
You probably can speak more to that. I certainly, especially in recent 12 months or so, when been doing a lot more King George whiting fishing and really just going after particular sizes to keep. So not necessarily, even if they're legal, you sort of just wait until they're a bit chunkier. So we're releasing a lot and never even crossed my mind because the bite hasn't slowed up if I drop. Like what's the theory? What are they doing? Are they swimming down going, fucking hell, guys?
You'll never guess what happened.
Whatever you do, next time you see something that's shiny, just fucking leave it alone.
Or okay, let's break this down.
Because I want to know what that theory is, because I don't know what is supposed to be happening down there. Do they emit sort of a fucking sort of something through their lateral line saying danger, danger? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Is it like a human being abducted by an alien? And that, because, you know, if a human gets released, they come back and we're like, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, but it's also not like if a fish went down going, guys, you never fucking believe what just happened to me, and it's that same sort of abduction type vibe. it's not so much the fish are scared of being abducted by aliens. They're probably like, get the fuck away from this weirdo.
Oh,
Let's get
fair
out of
call.
here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they're still hungry. They're still on the chew. They
just don't want to be around this cock.
They don't want to be around this guy. And this guy kind of is a bit. He's kind of hooked on it. He's like, I wouldn't mind that happening again.
He's
so he
ruining the
hangs
vibe.
around. He hangs around the burley pot.
It's like going out to a restaurant with the boys,
Yeah.
and there's a table across that's just been complete flogs. And you're like, I'm still hungry. We'll just go and eat somewhere else.
We'll go somewhere else. I don't even. We'll
Ooh,
find. Yeah.
like it. Didn't
Yeah.
think of it.
Yeah, they're not scared of the boat or the hooks or the line or the burley pot. They're just like, get me away from this flog.
Fair.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like if we catch a fish and release it, have we ruined their life? Like are they coming back psychologically damaged?
So what if it's
Are
like,
they're outcasts for the rest of their life?
well, or what about, is there more of a fishing karma type aura around it where you catch a fish, let it go, and it swims down to the school and goes, hey, fellas, the food we're being offered here is really good.
Mm.
And the dude offering is a catch and release guy. It's worth the pain. Go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just a piercing.
It's just a piercing. Like we've all had them like several
Like
times.
nibble,
today.
nibble. Don't get greedy because if your gut hooked, it's over.
Yeah,
Just
don't swallow it.
savor the
Christ's sake.
flavour.
Yeah.
Savor the flavour.
You
and
9
just
times
nibble.
out of 10, you'll get it. You'll keep it in your mouth. They'll just pull the hook out. You will keep that, and
Yeah.
they'll release you with food.
Yeah, so it's all good. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Feed up.
Is it, or is it maybe there's an element of it that's like if you work if you're a fishmonger, like you're coming home with a bit of a fish smell attached to you. Is it a bit of that? They get human smell on them because we've just
Maybe.
full wrapped a full hand around them, a whiting, and they go back and their mates go, oh, for Christ's
Yeah, you
sake, Daryl,
stink, mate.
Jesus, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I just got grabbed by. Nah, get the fuck away from me.
You stink, mate. Go
That's
and
shit
shower
ass.
or something.
Jesus. Same deal. Boys, let's get out of here. Fuck, this guy stinks. And there's the bite gone.
These are all very compelling.
With the snapper one, I think it's different, and I don't know about you, but I don't get offended, anyone. Snapper to me aren't the most intelligent species of animal in the world.
They've never been spoken about as an intelligent species, have they?
I picture them being released, swimming back to their mates, and their mates go, "What happened?" And sort of going, "Oh, I don't know.
Don't know.
It's fucking weird." You all good? Yeah, no, I'm all right. Oh, it was a pilchard. Bang, hooked again. Oh fuck,
Again.
dickhead. Like, you know, that's what the vibes I get from a snapper.
I could see, because when you're sounding around for snapper, you're not, it's all good to find the Christmas tree, but if you're going for a snapper fish, you're generally looking for ones or twos in a big paddock.
Mm.
Do you reckon those 2s and 3s are sitting there going, you eat it? You eat
Maybe. Yeah,
Pussy,
go on.
you eat
go
it.
on. Yeah, go on. What are you waiting
it.
for?
You eat it.
You said you were hungry 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, go for it. It's all yours, mate. I'm full.
Oh no,
No, you eat it.
I was hoping for squid. That looks like pilchard.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was hungry or thirsty. You eat it.
Yeah, no, you go, mate. You're all right. Maybe. And the ones in the ones that are Christmas trade up are just like mental. They're at a rave.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
off
They're
their
thinking
heads.
hard.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
mate. They're absolute because and they don't care where they are or where they get hooked. I don't know. It's a weird circle of life down there under the water. I just don't.
Yeah, but back to the original question. I can't confidently say I've ever been in a situation where I'm like, fuck, I dropped one, the bite's over.
No, I agree. Because there was talk about that with kingfish for a while too.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, like you release more than you keep anyway, don't you? If you're having a good session on them. So yeah, don't know. Let us know. That might not be a bad one for the punters ads. Is releasing fish detrimental to the bite?
Session.
The sesh. Yeah.
It's always been an interesting one. I don't. Yeah, in my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah. So we've landed. I think you and I both landed on it. And it doesn't matter to us.
Not that I've noticed.
And prove us wrong. Tell us. Give us some.
Tell us.
I wouldn't mind some science around it though. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of. I mean,
And give us the
A few
species.
examples of what we think happens under the water. I also, because I like to think, and this is where I'm weird. I like to think sometimes like, what would that animal sound like if it spoke? You know, I always think about my dog, like, and you know,
Yeah.
but fish are just. I reckon you can pick it. I reckon like that snapper for me is that. Yeah, they're sort of dead shits. Whiting are kind of just more. They're more human, like they're just more social and that. But I always. No, you're getting a real insight into my fucking weird mind. But I always picture, when you see some of those videos like GoPros on burley pots and there's whiting there picking away at Future Valley or whatever, and then you see a eagle raiders come past. So I always just picture it going, and not really saying anything at all,
Just being annoying.
just being fucking annoying
Yeah.
on all fronts. And the fish just turn around and go, fuck
Mate,
off.
who invited him?
Yeah. What's he even doing here? If you want some food, just come over, mate.
If they just made that noise.
Just that noise.
I would lose my
Just that noise. Don't say a word. They don't say a word. And then, when they get really excited, if you hooked them and they jump out of the water, it's a,
Yeah. Yeah, they're not bothered. They're just having fun.
no, they love it.
They're just having
They go out there looking for hooks.
It's like a theme park ride.
Oh, mate, they're like, that's what they live for. They want to get hooked. That's why you catch so many when you're not, when you're fishing for a snapper or gummies or whatever.
And we've all heard the stories of the big, the big eagle ray that's come up with another, like a couple of pairs of 5-0s already in its mouth where it's been busted off and won.
They're like trophies.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm leaving this in.
This is badass.
This is mad. This is me tough stickers, mate. There's that one guy who's like been around. He's like old eagle ray. He's got a gaff hole in his wing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like the big boss.
Yeah. I took him on, mate.
Fucking, he gaffed me and I still fucked off. And it was awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I don't even know where we're at in the show at this point.
It's
been a big
started off
week.
as a half intelligent podcast and just turned to shit.
There was another. That's right. We're talking about fucking hell. We're talking about questions from Instagram, but I don't even think that was one of them. We just got completely sidetracked.
Just went off on a tangent.
There was one more that I wanted to touch on here, and it's a bit more of a serious one. Plastic tackle packaging and soft plastics in general, a move to biodegradables ? It's an interesting one. It's the packaging one's interesting because I think there's been a few suppliers sort of try and go in the direction of some, I suppose, recyclable or environmentally friendly packaging.
So this is something I don't really know a hell of a lot about it, but the insight I can give. So Suffix, who is owned by Rapala Worldwide, this is interesting. There was a release of a new line at ICAST, which was for the American market in plastic packaging. We've been seeing over the last 18 months the line based around the worldwide lines or the European lines have all been switched over to recycled cardboard packaging. And I actually asked the question of work, is this an old pack? If it's a new release, why is it in plastic? Because the American market don't feel as though they can sell as many units if it's in a recycled cardboard packet.
Because no one gives a fuck.
They don't give a rat's ass. But in answer to the question, those conversations are 100% taking place within most fishing tackle companies in the world.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot more cardboard packaging. You'll even start noticing with lures, they're trying to work out how to package a lure so that it still looks good, marketable, and presentable, but they cut down on the amount of plastic. It's hard to go no plastic at all.
It's the hard one, and reality. And I'm just gonna say it. It's the reason I think that it still is that plastic packaging is because at the end of the day, tackle companies need sales, and it looks better.
and it's
You know what
cheap.
I mean? I'm just being honest.
In the grand scheme of things, it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's still the cheapest form of packaging is plastic.
Mm.
So
That I reckon is where it's a struggle, and
Yeah.
I know we all want environmentally friendly anything like that. No one's you and I certainly aren't against it, but at the end, when all is said and done, it's hard to convince that to someone who might be, and I'm talking like a global sort of international brand or whatever that's going to be making less money.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I know
It's-
it sounds
100%.
disgusting, but it's just the way it is. And
100%.
hey, it's not exclusive to our industry, by the way.
no. But I genuinely believe that we will see a day where the vast majority of packaging within our industry worldwide will be made of some sort of recycled material. It is something that is definitely on the minds of the manufacturers. I've got no doubt about it. Everybody.
100%.
Whether we can actually get there, because the other issue we have in our industry is we're dealing with hooks. They're fucking sharp and they've got barbs on them. So everything's got to be enclosed.
Yeah.
You can't put a lure on the shelf with 2 ultra fine gauge, number 12 trebles on it that have barbs on each hook point.
You could.
You could, and it's going to fuck a few dumbasses up. I give you the tip.
Or kids.
Yeah.
Or dumbass kids. Even worse.
Yeah.
Do you remember, this is showing my age a bit. I don't know, you're a couple of years younger than me, you might not. When I first, I suppose, was introduced to a soft plastic, I was in school, pretty sure I was wagging school, going to Aussie Angler in Greensboro there, caught a train and a bus to get there. And soft plastics were sold. Rick had them on a shelf in a brown paper bag open, and you'd literally take them out. Like, so you'd get, I'm going to get 6 of them or whatever it was. So no packaging. Like, no. And hey, I know that soft plastics have come a long way as far as, development in that lure profile, but imagine that. There's no packaging required. Like, imagine that sort of world.
Imagine that. You walked into a tackle shop and on display was just a heap of like display cases just with loose soft plastics, and you just go and pick what you want.
Yeah, or even in the Gulp Alive jars with the juice.
Yeah.
So they're fresh and they're, it's almost like you're picking out live baits.
It doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it?
Logistical nightmare. Or not logistical nightmare, probably just
for the shops, it'd be a nightmare because it would demand so much space.
Oh, and it would just be, you could list the issues, but
you could. So some of the issues, let's list them and let's solve the problem. So the issue with that is straight away one of the most popular and one of the most reliable working soft plastics on the planet is already now completely taken off the market. Gulp.
Yeah.
Because who's going to want it? Because the smell of that juice is fucking horrid, but it's also why they work so well. Who's going to have? You're going to walk into a tackle shop and just have a Gulp juice, just a swimming pool of Gulp juice where you pick your plastics out? Not going to work.
No, and look, I think most anglers in Australia have owned or own Gulp, right? Just as a rule, I've got heaps of it, I have got it.
I would
so
go
securely.
as far to say, as probably most soft plastic fishermen have at least one packet or have owned Gulp at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And what I guess I was getting at is we've also all experienced the leakage,
and it's unavoidable. It doesn't matter how good you are.
I've thrown out tackle storage.
Yeah.
Like bags that are really good bags that you can't, that's not fixable.
No.
You
and not
can't
going to
get that
lie,
shit.
I may have thrown the bag out with some packets of soft plastic still in it.
I've got a bit of a rule now where, to a degree, there's probably a cut-off point at some stage, but I don't bring home open packets of Gulp. I have to use them all. Now, which is a tough one because they're pretty hard. Like, they're pretty... You can get a fair bit of use out of them. So, but I can't bring myself to bringing them home, ads. Yes, I've got one of the little tubs that I could empty him into, and
Yeah, but no one wants to do that.
and they're not. I don't. You can't 100% seal, or
Have you done the Gulp Alive thing where you've kept said jar of juice and man?
No, I should. I've got a jar. I just don't have the juice. I've got plenty of the plastics, but it's and there's been everything's got every soft bait's got some sort of scent, but they are just, and that's what makes them so good, right? Like, there's no doubt about that. But Jesus Christ, that leakage, and like if you don't pick up on it straight away, and it's not till the next day or the next week or whenever it is you go fishing.
fucked.
Oh my God, what has happened in here? Crime scene, spill in aisle 4. Jesus, yeah. Anyway, but it is an interesting thing. I've thought about this and I've thought about it for probably different reasons, but more I think about it, the removal of packaging. This completely plays into it. At what point are we going to see fishing tackle vending machines? And I'm just thinking, and that was probably more including like packets of things. But now I'm thinking about it. What if there's a VMC hook vending machine, right? And you need 5/0 circle hooks. And you go punch that in, swipe your card, and it actually just spits out the individual hooks for you to put into your box or case or whatever it is you've got. Now, I know there's still elements of risk and, loose hooks flying around, but I'm just putting it out there on the spot. Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
It's kind of sad, but the first place my mind goes to is as soon as it gets dark on day 1 of installation, the vending machine's fucking gone. Someone's caved it in, emptied all the stock out of it.
Oh, I'm not necessarily. I could still be inside the shop.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm saying you come in with like you could bloody bring in a deep drop stubby holder if you want and just stick them in there, but you walk in.
So it's not spitting out a packet, it's just spitting out individual hooks.
Might be swivels, might be probably not sinkers. It could be like smaller stuff, but it could be. Don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, if you all right, I need size 6 long shanks. I just need a top up. I've only got a couple left in my box.
And it just spits them out. It just spits them out in a clusterfuck of tangled hooks. Which that's how they end up in a tackle tray
exactly.
anyway.
That's not an issue. No. You just go in and go, do I need 5 or 10? Fuck it, I'll just get 10. Boom. Please swipe your card. No worries.
I love the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Well, it removes all packaging.
Correct.
Right? You've got just a big, and the reps would come in and fill it, restock it.
The hardest part
the shops
with
could
hooks,
do that.
Well, the hardest part with the hooks would be making sure they come out in the quantity, because you know what a hook's like.
I know.
You're going to get a hook point through a hook eye at some point. It's going to go over the bar. It's a pain in the ass to get out. If that could be solved somehow. Now, I'm not the person to solve it. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But, okay, well,
don't know.
What if we take it to something where it could work? Actually, sinkers are probably a really good one.
Yeah.
If you put all your ball sinkers from size 00 through to size 10, and though having said that, that's pretty well how you're buying them in most tackle shops now anyway.
Individually. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, I'm just spitting it out there, mate. Let's not find all the issues straight away.
No. I'm intrigued, Luke. You've captured my attention, and I don't hate it. There'd be some issues to work through, but that's normal.
I would lean heavily on our Japanese friends for this. They dominate a vending machine. They know how to do vending machines in Japan.
What about this weird one? How would you feel about all your lures? So hard body lures. You actually don't buy them. They no longer come with trebles on it. Mm-hmm. So you can go to a vending machine, buy your lures, and it spits them out for you, but there's no hardware on them. How'd you feel about
and then
that?
you go to the next one and you get your rings. Your next one you get your. I think we're making it too much work for the customer.
Fair. And who
Yep.
wants to put that? Like, I've been known to throw perfectly good lures out because they need the rings and trebles changed.
That's unbelievably lazy.
But listen, understand I was very spoiled. I worked in a tackle
Yeah.
shop for a long time.
Oh, and now you've only got several million Rapala lures in your shed, but I know what you mean.
Don't pretend you haven't done it.
No, it just got me thinking about being spoilt, and I remember fishing with when Jared Day and I used to work for Complete Angler, and obviously have access to as many lures as we want, and he would cast it, and it would just touch a leaf of a tree, and he'd just snap it off.
See, my passion for
That's
not
gone.
tying,
I'm like, mate, it's just there.
my passion for tying leaders outweighs my need to. I'd get just so I didn't have to retie a leader. I'd go and get the lure back.
You get exactly no. He'd just snap it. You could easily reach that, Jared. Nah, it's gone.
Though he had a very specific talent, Jared Day.
Oh, casting lures off.
I've never fished with anyone that can cast a lure off better than Jared
Never.
Day.
I've never.
It's
never
a talent.
cast. Like the amount
I've tried
of
to snap
times-
them off on the cast and can't do it that often.
The amount of times, and it would start early. It would start early in the session that you just hear that crack. Yeah, that crack, and then he'd just sort of wander off. And he didn't care because it happens so often. It would be part of his day.
That's right.
And you go,
He wouldn't even go with that. Fuck.
No,
Nah,
it's
just
like,
well, another day at the office is what it is.
well, it lasted longer than I thought it would.
I'm on fire.
And then he'd go tie another shit knot and do it all again. I had a ball catching up with him at AFTA. It's been a while.
Oh, same. He's a good man, Jared Day. Shout out to you, mate. You're a fucking legend.
Yeah. Anyway, then I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
It's a very interesting concept. I wonder if we see a day where the gear is more individual and free range and you just pick what you want rather
what I
than
mean.
having to buy it in a packet. I don't hate it. This is the thing. I don't hate it, Luke. There's got to be a way that it can work. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh, look, overall, I think it is the way of, any sort of product in any industry that. But it's kind of interesting that it's when everything's sort of, I won't say everything, but that there's that green focus that it's still consumables, whether it be.
Could you imagine
whatever.
how cool some of the vending machines would look?
Oh,
Because if you're relying on something like that, now your marketing has to be part of what your vending machine looks like.
And I'm upping the ante. I'm going straight. If I'm one of these suppliers, I'm going straight for a vending machine with like LED screens on the front, playing wicked fishing footage.
Oh, I'm
Fucking-
I'm thinking like Monster Energy drink. I'm going in your face. We're talking like bright, loud,
Yeah.
not so much screens with footage, just demanding your attention from the second you walked anywhere near it. I want one of those ones that starts just playing sounds when you walk past it. Like,
I reckon we could develop one for the deep drop, and whatever the that you can put in, you can use it for whatever fishing tackle you want. But ultimately, it's like a bit of AI incorporated into it. And as someone walks up and they going through making their selection, all of a sudden our machine just starts going, oh, you're choosing that one, really?
interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. Well,
Not our best seller.
ads, do you think they should be selecting that? And it's like actually you and I, it's our voices, and it's. Don't go 6.0. What are you doing? You need 4.050 max. That's as big as you want for a hook.
Yeah. What are you doing?
You're not getting split rings while you're here. Why wouldn't you? What are you doing?
Are you just taping?
And it's just
these
sensor.
trebles
It's like a sensor. So as they walk off, you're like, "See ya."
Yeah. See you
You
tomorrow. See you tomorrow for your split rings.
You got to have some sort of, I don't know, get creative with it.
Yeah. You're going to regret not buying braid scissors. Bet you can't find them.
Oh, braid scissors. That's another conversation. How much? let's go there real quick. How much should we be paying for braid scissors?
At a retail level.
Yeah. Let's just go there real quick. Let's not spend any time on this.
You go first because I do have, through my own personal experience, I do have
$10
an opinion
max
on this.
$10. Well, you shouldn't have to pay more. I don't know if I'm overstepping the line here saying this, by the way. You should be able to get a rock solid pair of braid scissors cheap. And I don't know if it's 10. It might be 15. It might be 20. But
how long?
You know what I'm saying?
How long? Well, actually, probably more to the point because it probably answers the question for me as well. How long are you realistically expecting said pair of braid scissors to cut braid well for?
Season? Now, I don't know what season. Oh, mate, if I'm not paying too much, I don't care if they don't only last me 3 or 4 months. I'll buy a few pairs.
This is my point. Because I'm not one that looks after my shit very well.
Nah.
Especially when it rods and reels, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Tools and shit,
Mate,
I am very likely to grab the tackle bag and retie some leaders and pull the scissors out, and they don't even open.
Yeah.
Let alone cut
we've all
anything.
had that.
Or you go to cut the tag off your braid, it doesn't really cut it, it just bends it. You need to try and bend the tag off.
And then you end up with just a few feathers of braid.
Yeah, and it looks worse than what it did with the tag on it.
I just think, and I do, I've got multiple pairs because the other thing is I fucking lose them all the time.
Yeah, so.
So I don't want to be spending 30, 40, 50 bucks on braid scissors knowing all too well that within 24, 48 hours they could be gone.
The only way I could justify spending any sort of money on a really good pair of braid scissors is if I knew they were literally staying on a lanyard at home.
Well,
because you're like, okay, this I wouldn't even take them. I'm not talking if you're rigging up in a cabin or a campsite. Nah, they are not leaving the house because then I can't lose them. They can't get hammered by salt water.
What if you need them while you're fishing?
No, that's when you got your shit pair. That's when you just
So you've got a good pair at home. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So on your rigging bench at home is your good pair.
You've got a good pair that cuts. Like you just wave those scissors past that braid too fast, and the braid goes, "Fuck it, I'm out," and just cuts itself off.
Yeah. Then you've got your tub scissors.
Tub scissors, what I personally rely on. I'd rather buy 4 pairs and lose them all in 3 weeks than spend $50 on a good pair.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. I don't know how we got to that topic, but it's needed to be said. Yeah. Needed to be said. Well, anyway, I think there's I think there were good questions, by the way, from our for
the punters. Yeah, thanks to everyone that tried. There
was a couple more too, but we're running out of time. I just wanted to say, I know it's late in the. Hopefully, people are still with us. We're not far away from landing someone on the podcast from Extreme Boat Docking Ads.
This excites me more than anything we've ever done.
What I would suggest to anyone listening is to find Extreme Boat Docking on Instagram.
Yep.
Flick them a message. Reason being, they got back to us.
Yeah, and by us, we mean you.
We have made contact.
Yeah, and
they weren't overly keen.
No, but I get it. But the communication lines are open.
That's right. We've made that initial contact.
And I think if Luke, if we can show them just how legitimately excited we are by this brand new sport in my eyes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think we're not taking the piss.
No.
This is fun.
When I say they weren't keen, it wasn't so much they weren't keen on us or the podcast, whatever. It was like they sort of suggested they didn't have many people that did media.
Yeah. Well, we're here to put Extreme Boat Docking on the map. How it's not already, I don't know.
We want to bring it. We want to bring it to the down under. Yeah.
But the communication lines are open. That's very exciting. Open.
But I think we need a bit of a push, a bit of a prompt from the punters out there. So if you could find Extreme Boat Docking, and look, do them a favour, follow the page, just to support.
It's worth a follow anyway.
And it's a growing brand too. It's a big mate. This won't be far off. the Olympics are in LA next year, aren't they? Or next Olympics, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't
Extreme
be
boat docking.
surprised if extreme boat docking pops up.
I wonder who's the face of extreme boat docking?
Oh,
Who's
it's gotta
the
be-
LeBron
What's his
James?
name? Joe John? No, what was his name? John
Joe
Johnson?
Johnson.
No, what was it? Who was it?
Oh, Jake Jacobs?
Jake Jacobson or Jake Jacobs. He's got to be.
Yeah.
I've seen him pop up on Instagram on their page several times. The
Oh.
Outlaw, wasn't it? His boat, the Outlaw.
Yes. Okay. So
He's the one we want.
we're going for the top dog.
I found him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Messaged him. Nothing back. That's okay.
That's okay.
He's busy, mate.
He's practicing.
Mate, don't
Mate,
expect
these boats
LeBron
don't
James to
reverse
message me back.
themselves.
We got it. We got to make it happen. I think we just need some support from.
Yeah,
or just
so
just a bit of a.
politely, just
Oh, yeah.
politely throw them a like and a DM. Hey, massive
Yeah.
fan from down in Australia. Heard of
Yeah.
you through the Deep Drop Pod. Think
Yeah.
it's worth a look.
Play the Australia card. Was just riding along on me kangaroo, listening to the, watching Instagram and
Dodging the drop bears.
dodging the drop bears. Fucking had a drop bear drop on the deck of me boat while I was backing into practicing some extreme boat docking. Anyway, so we've made contact. It's
Yeah.
exciting. We can't be that far away.
The wheels of progress are in motion, Luke,
Oh.
and I really like where we're headed.
If you can encourage someone from Extreme Boat Docking to be in touch and they give you a shout out when they connect with us, I'll send you some merch.
Yeah, 100.
This is huge. Anyway, all right. Well, let's leave it there. We've got plenty to go through there. We've just basically put together a pitch to Shimano Japan about the Tiagra CI4. I'm going to send that off tomorrow morning. We want to know about...
It's got to be green and black, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mate, I had shout out to Ryan from Albany in WA who sent me a video recently of a new Plano tackle box. His words were deep drop green.
Nice.
And it was.
Nice.
So, we're just setting a trend on this colour. I believe there's some Gamoku rods in your stable ads that are deep drop green.
Correct. There may even be a new 13 fishing reel that you'll see shortly that is black and deep drop green. Just saying.
Excuse me. I mean, can we start talking about commission here, people?
Yeah.
I mean, this. Where can we get our hands on some of that? And maybe are we going to see I don't know, countdown 5 and deep drop green? I
Hey,
don't know.
anything's possible, Luke.
Let's reach out to the fine folk in Europe at Rapala. And yeah, also asking the question, obviously, releasing fish, is it a deterrent? Tell us your thoughts. We've given you ours.
Unfortunately for you, we wasted a lot of your time, but it was a serious question.
And then, and I'm going to sort of, I suppose, morph the question we got from Instagram before ads into fishing tackle vending machines? Question mark?
Question mark?
Just
Pitch
float
it
it
to
out
us.
Yeah.
I'm already sold on the idea. How does it work? Go.
Yeah, or tell us why it won't work. Like we're open to both
Yeah,
sides
just-
because we need to nail this before what you and I invest.
That's right. We need to
'Cause
know what needs to be
I don't want to
fixed.
go on. I don't want to go on Shark Tank and not have,
Well,
dotted all the I's and crossed the T's.
Yeah, correct. We go
You
in
know.
prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's only one way, and then, and then it's just, I suppose, making it come to life. But that's not our problem. We just come up with the ideas.
Yeah, exactly. We're ideas
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
engineers.
No, we're not.
We don't
engineers.
pretend to be. We
Don't have
just
time for that shit.
we're shit talkers and
All right. Well, go. Hey, if you're still with us, fucking good on you, and thank you, and we appreciate this. And we're trucking along after episode 100 ads, and it feels so good, doesn't it?
it does feel good. It
Feels
feels like we're
fresh.
just getting started.
It does.
Yeah.
It
So
does.
it's good. It's the first 100's done.
Little tease, and it's probably I should have done a tease earlier in the show, but little tease. We've got some belting special guests lined up for the deep drop in
Yes.
the very near future. I'm talking some international guests.
Just stay. We international guests.
Were you telling me to stay? To
No,
stay in my
no, the
lane? Is
listener.
that-
Just
I thought you
just
were-
stay.
just
Stay with the deep drop. There's some cool things
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
And listen, hey, we're not afraid to ask for help, and it's exactly what we've done tonight. Reach out to Extreme Boat Docking. We're going
Boat
after the
docking.
big fish.
Oh no, they're not the ones I'm talking about.
No, I know,
the
I know, I
international
know,
guests.
I know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah,
we want to add them to the international list.
Yeah, there's some guests lined up who are big names in the Australian fishing industry. We'll get some people back.
Yeah.
Some of the people we've had on before.
Yep.
So we'll dive into some more of the getting people on the ship because let's be honest, we need help. We can't
need
talk
all the
about.
help we can get.
Yeah, we need some people who know what they're talking about. So stick around. That'll do us for this episode of The Deep Drop. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a bloody good one. See you, ads.
Peace.